Yo, what up? It's your boy, Mr. E, and today we are going to talk about stem and leaf plots. Stem and leaf plots are one of my favorite ways to represent data because you get to kind of use patterns in different ways to show what you wanted to say. So without further ado, let's dive right into some stem and leaf plots. So something that you may notice about stem and leaf plots is I only have one representation. It is pretty impossible to represent a stem and leaf plot in a qualitative way. Stem and leaf plots are purely numbers, okay? So when we use stem and leaf plots, they're always going to be quantitative data, okay? So let's talk a little bit about how we can read a stem and leaf plot, okay? The very first thing I always look for is the key, okay? The key is key, okay? So what I can see is when the 6 is to the left of the line and the 3 is to the right of the line, that's going to give me 63 years old. So I know the stem is going to be my tens place and the leaf is going to be my ones place. So reading the stem and leaf plot, I can see there are several people in here that are less than 10 years old. I can see there's only a few people that are higher than 60 years old. So each of these leaves go with the stem, kind of like a tree, and we can see how many of those go with 0, how many of those go with 1. Something you might also notice is there's numbers that are repeating. So that means there are 1, 2, 3 10-year-olds represented in the stem and leaf plot. There are 1, 2 57-year-olds represented in the stem and leaf plot. So when you make your stem and leaf plot, it is really important that you use those repeating numbers. You don't just put it once, okay? So as you can see, it's pretty easy to read a stem and leaf plot, but the big key here is to look at the key and see what the place value is. Now, stem and leaf plots aren't always tens place to ones place. I think that's the biggest misconception that you students might have because that's all the representations you've seen in lower grades. We can also use stem and leaf plots to represent decimals, to represent fractions. And we're going to do that right now by creating a stem and leaf plot, okay? So we've got some long jump results, okay? We went out to a track meet, got our long jump results. I was thinking we should probably put if they're in feet, meters, inches, but I didn't know what was good or what was bad. I didn't want to put something that was like impossible or something that wasn't like even impressive. So I've already got my stem and leaf plot started, okay? I gave it a title. It's always important to label your data representations. And I have my key down here, okay? What you should notice though is that when the 3 is to the left of the line and the 5 is to the right of the line, that gives me 3 and 5/10. So what I know is the 3 or the stem is going to be the ones place and the leaf is going to be the tenths place. Now, a lot of students will take a look at this and they'll look over here and they'll start to try to make their stem and leaf plot. But I think it's really, really important to order your data from least to greatest. I know that takes a little time. I know that can be frustrating and you don't want to do that, but it really helps you organize your data and makes it where you don't make a small mistake. So with the magic of Disney, we have our numbers ordered from least to greatest. It's not going to be that quick and that fast for you guys unless Mickey Mouse decides to want to help you out, okay? So let's go ahead and we're going to start creating our stem and leaf plot, okay? So something I noticed right off the bat is I don't have any values for 0 or 1. So I don't really need to write 0 or 1. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start at 2, okay? So we have a couple that are in 2. We have a couple that are in 3. We have one that's in 4 and one that's in 5. So even if we only have one, or even if there's 0, let's say we like didn't have this 4 and 5/10, we would still put it in there. We just wouldn't put any leaf to go with it, okay? So what I like to do is I like to go one number at a time and I cross it out, okay? So we've got 2 and 3/10. So I'm gonna put a 3 over here. So now I have represented that one long jump of 2 and 3/10. Then I put the 5. Notice that I'm putting a comma to kind of separate them. You don't have to do that, but it does help to see like the differences between the numbers and they don't all like jumble together, okay? So we've got 2 and 5/10. And yeah, we have another one, so we need to put the 5 down for a second one. Don't only put 1 down there just because you've already done it once. There is 2 people that jumped 2 and 5/10, so we've got to represent 5 twice. Then we've got 7. I cross that one out. then we've got 8. And we're done with the 2. And we can move on to the next one, okay? Again, takes a little extra time to do this, but I have ensured that I've gotten all of these done correctly. The next one we're going to do is we are going to do the threes place. So we're going to start with 3 and 2/10. So put the 2 here. Notice that it's really, really important when I'm creating my stem and leaf plot that these are in numerical order. We don't want to just put some random numbers together. That would be a little bit harder to read. So we've got 3 and 6/10, and we've got that twice again, so we need to write that twice, okay? And we're done with 3. Moving on to 4, there's only 1 for 4, so that's 4 and 5/10. And we have 1 for 5. So even though there's no value in the tens place, we still want to put a 0 there to show that that point was there, okay? So cross off our 4 and 5/10, cross off our 5 and 0/10. And we've created our stem and leaf plot. So a good stem and leaf plot always has a key, always has a title, and that you usually do it like this with the stem on the left side and the leaf on the right side. Though there are some representations where you can do it from a horizontal perspective as well. So pretty easy to create a stem and leaf plot. Let's answer a question about our stem and leaf plot, okay? So how many jumped higher than 3 and 0/10? So that might seem like it's a little tough to figure out, but all we have to do is we need to take a look at where 3 and 0/10 are and count how many people did that. So I noticed that at 8, that's 2 and 8/10. So that person did not jump higher than 3 and 0/10. The only people that jumped higher than 3 and 0/10 are these people. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there were 5 people that jumped higher than 3 and 0/10. We could also easily say who was the winner, who jumped the furthest, and that was this person that jumped 5 and 0/10. Who jumped the least amount, or who jumped the shortest distance, and that was 2 and 3/10. Okay, so now we should know how to not only read a stem and leaf plot, but how to create a stem and leaf plot. Remember, stem and leaf plots aren't always tens place, ones place. It can sometimes be represented with decimals and fractions, and that's kind of what we expect in 5th grade, okay? If you have any questions about stem and leaf plots, please reach out to your teachers. We are more than happy to help you. We love you guys a lot. We miss you. We'll hope you're having a great day, and we'll see you later. Bye.